So I took down 2 videos that I did yesterday because I realized I don't want to be part of the feeding the occult. It's important in some cases for people to speak the truth. In other cases, it's best for things to fade away. This is what I mean. This one. She's now, and I won't say these names, tying this to this, and yet both of these have similarities besides assassination. But the energy behind it is occult. They take out their own because then they feed off of the public and say, we're not being given the truth. This is the same thing they're doing with this one, and I won't say their names. They did with this one, and they have that occult. That's how they keep their power. That's the reason why that big memorial, which was really just some ritual of some kind, that's the reason they wanted you to chant his name. Do you remember how BLM, the far left, wanted you to chant people's names? Because again, it's energy. They're feeding off of you, so you're giving them that power. So when you watch her, most especially when you watch her about this, but I would say when you watch her, period, you're feeding the occult. There's something all of these people had in common, okay? And her. The religion. Catholicism. It's feeding straight into the occult. That's who does this. The occult loves to take out big, powerful figures that are their own, because they can turn them into legends, they can turn them into idols, they can turn them into worshiping tools, they can continually feed this what if narrative, and all the while they're just building up these people in your head like they're some sort of god, and they're really anything but, because the occult takes out its own. So in that case, they don't want there will never be, just like with this one, at this point there will never be an answer. There will never be an answer that satisfies everyone. And why is that? Because of the occult being behind it altogether. So when it comes to something like that, you need to let it fade away. I understand now why there's some things that Donald Trump just will not talk about. And there's a reason he won't. It's not because he's afraid. It's not because he's corrupt. It's because to do so gives that occult energy. Heed the prophetic warnings, occultism and conspiracy theories as linked worldviews in France. It dawned on me, so I started looking this up, because all of it, I never watched Candace, never. And when I hit her, because it came up on my YouTube feed, and I clicked on it, and I'm like, why am I listening to this? And then I thought, wait a minute, this is all, because it all goes back to, darkness, okay? Like, they're feeding off of this the same way the memorial was meant to feed off of the public. And so when it failed with everybody chanting his name, they couldn't get everybody to do that. You then get people like her, Jimmy Dore, Nick Flynn. I mean, they're always the same ones. They hate the Jews, they hate Israel, the same narratives they push, okay? And so now she's basically, as you can see here, saying, I want war with all of you, because she's saying, why isn't anybody talking about him? Why are we just accepting the narrative? Why does the White House just want us to brush it under the carpet? Because when the occult is literally behind it, because they were serving that occult church, then you need the best way for your country to move on and for you to have peace is you can't keep feeding it energy. She knows she wants to feed it energy. And so just the same way he was doing by getting his followers to like be glued to him, that's what she's doing now. Because once she gets her followers attached to her by using all this, she'll never take you to a conclusion. Never. They never will, because they all serve the same occult. And if you don't understand what I mean, it goes back to this. So the ongoing discussions and perpetuation of narratives about assassination victims, especially in conspiracy circles, serves to keep these spells, to keep the spell or psychological influence active. This means that by continuously talking about these individuals that are assassinated, they reinforce the collective belief systems, fears, and myths associated with the event or person, preventing the narrative from fading away or being dismissed. And if you want to know how they maintain the spell or influence, psychological reinforcement. Repeatedly discussing these deaths keeps the emotional and psychological weight alive within the community or belief system, making the conspiracy seem more real and ongoing. Energy and power. In occult or magical thinking stories, especially traumatic or emotionally charged ones, they are believed to carry residual energy that can be harnessed or manipulated for further influence or power. Constant references deepen the myth and legend surrounding the event, which can serve as a form of control or influence over followers who may see the event as part of an ongoing battle between hidden forces. Now, there is good and evil, okay? There is. I don't think anybody can deny that. But the way to help that isn't to have this ongoing. That's one area with especially people that are assassinated, especially with the occult, when they take out their own, then you want to stop talking about it. You do. Because there will never be something acceptable. And they just want to continue to. This is why Donald Trump does. I finally understood it. Now, that's not like that with everything, but when it comes to the occult and these assassinations, if you want them to stop talking, they feed off of this. She is feeding. She knows what she's doing. Okay? She does. They all have the Catholic thing in common. All the deaths, the family, her. It's the same repeating story. And wanting to keep it going as a legend, to keep it alive. I'm going to be his David, as she says, and this is, who knows if her text messages are real, okay, with him back, and who know, you don't know. The cult will go to any lengths, and you may say, well, she's not a cult, she's Catholic. Okay, no, she's a cult. Whether she knows it or not, but I'm pretty sure she knows. So that's why they're getting so upset. These same people that hate the Jews and hate Israel, okay? They're getting so upset because, no, people aren't talking about him enough. No, it's time to move on. And the reason is because of the occult being behind this. Not just that they're behind it, but because they were tied to it too. Do you hear what I'm saying? They were tied to it. And it takes out its own because it wants to feed off of the collective from it. So to continue to watch her or listen to her, you're continuing to keep the occult spell on you. So stop following her.